part of the reason that police killings don't get the same kind of national attention as other Latino issues, namely immigration issues, is because we don't really understand the historical structural ways in which police have targeted Latinos, and the ways in which police in certain areas of the country were specifically created to bring state-sanctioned violence to Latinos. So we understand immigration on a very personal level because many of us are immigrants ourselves. You know, I was undocumented for 15 years, have family who are immigrants, have family who are undocumented. So I think a lot of times, immigration is sort of like the front and center issue when it comes to Latino communities. Not to say that it's the only issue, but rightly so, it takes up a lot of our attention. And I think that thanks to the Black Lives Matter movement, and thanks to all of the work, the really centuries of work that the Black community has done, we are now turning our attention also to the killings of Latinos by police. So I think if we understood it kind of on that deeper structural level, we might understand that this is an issue that needs to be in our consciousness as much as any other issue that affects our community. So just to give you a quick example, the Texas Rangers were created in the 1820s specifically to bring violence to Mexicans and to Native people in their way in the United States way of westward expansion. There is a historical case that happened where the Texas Rangers took 15 Mexican men and boys to a hill and shot them dead because they believed that they were involved with some quote unquote looting that happened at a ranch nearby. That evidence was never produced. And so, you know, I think that if we really understand it on that level, we'll kind of see why these things are continue to happen today. It's because the system was set up specifically to target Black and brown bodies, right? I think the Black community understands this on a very deep level as we kind of understand police as being slave catchers, right? And it goes back to all the way back centuries of why police continue to act in this manner and in this way. And I just wanted to share some numbers because you're right that, you know, Andres, Eric, Sean, Adrian, those are 4 names that we've recently learned of, but they're not the only ones. I mean, in LA County alone, since the year 2000, 465 Latinos have been killed by police. Nationally, 903 Latinos have been killed by police in the last year. Almost 1,000 Latinos have been killed by police in the last year. Right now, we're talking the names and we're speaking the names of just a few of them. But each one of those 903, that's not just a number. That's fathers and daughters and grandsons that have been murdered by police and whose families will never be whole because of it. And so I think, you know, when we get this question of why aren't Latinos getting the same attention, I think that's a wrong question to ask. I think the question we need to be asking ourselves is, what are we individually and collectively doing to bring attention to these killings, and really, really importantly, to elevate the work of community organizers who have been doing this work for a long time. So, I saw a lot of comments that said, why aren't Latinos doing anything about this? And again, I think that I understand the frustration of where that comes from, because to be completely honest, I've had those thoughts and I've had those questions for myself. But what I've learned, what I've come to understand is that places like Youth Justice Coalition in LA, for 10 years, they have been working to try to get cops out of schools in Los Angeles County for 10 years. And so the work is happening, and we as people who who are out here need to elevate that work that people are already doing and continue to bring attention. So when you say, I've been using my quote unquote platform, and I don't really even sometimes think I have this big platform, but whatever voice I have, I always want to use it to elevate issues that are affecting our community, and without opaquing or trying to co-opt the movement that is the Black Lives Matter movement, but to stand in solidarity with them and to stand as co-conspirators with them, and to understand that while the issue is not the same, there are very, very strong parallels that can be drawn, and that if we understood them better and knew about them better, that we would be much better, stronger allies. Because ultimately, the times when we come together, like that's a scary proposition for white supremacy and for the white people in power. When Black and Brown come together, it really is a force that cannot be stopped.